Yep. Back for number 3. It's Rocco B and Scotty G, highly explicit NFL podcast. We're back for episode number 3. I'm Rocco B. How you doing?
Scotty G here right now. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
That'll work. Now, I know I normally billboard the show. I know that's normally our MO, but
Oh, here we go. It's probably some Dallas bullshit.
it ain't the Dallas bullshit. I'm not really, too disappointed over the whole Aldon Smith news, but I don't know. I've been talking to some people, and this whole thing about the 40 times. I've been watching the pro days. I've been watching the little mini combines they got.
You got something interesting.
I
here,
do.
actually.
I'm a little pissed off.
I'm a little bit more in depth than your normal bullshit Dallas Cowboys suck kind of deal. So let's roll with this.
Here's the thing. I am just sick and tired of the 40 times, the vertical leaps, the bench presses, the shuttle runs. You
don't like the combine. Just say you don't like the combine.
The combine, to
basically,
me,
you don't like the combine.
It's the NFL, the National Football League. Do these guys wear basketball shorts when they play the game? Do they wear tank tops when they play the game? Do they not wear helmets? Like, how about you watch the fucking tape? That's my biggest thing in the whole argument of the combine, what it does to somebody's stock, blah, 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 blah. Fuck the combine. The stock is in the tape. Watch the tape. Watch the player play football in football pads and a football helmet with a fucking football. It's not let's line up and time a guy with a watch and see what he does in his sneakers. I can't fucking stand it, and I can't wait later on. I have to share. I got 5 guys that prove my fucking point to the T. And I'll guarantee you in 2021, there's going to be another guy we're talking about that completely busts up the first round because these teams are insane and they fucking put all this stock in what they do in the shorts. So
this is from an outside point of view looking in, but you seem upset. You seem like
I don't know how you could have gotten that, but
you seem like there's something's not right here.
I'm just pissed off. I've been thinking this for years and years and years, and then now when I go through some of the data, and then like I said, I'll guarantee it's really the Kyle Pitts talk is the big thing to me. Like made me realize
Mr. Pots and Pans, he's a jerk off. I told you
people are like, people are like, this guy shouldn't belong in the top 5, top 10. He's a tight end, blah 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 blah.
Agreed.
What's the league turning into? This has nothing to do with what he did during a pro day, during a combine, whatever. Yeah, he just ran 4.46, but I don't give a shit. I was sold on Kyle Pitts way before he's running a 4.46, but I'll guarantee you that teams that were like, I don't know if I want to take a tight end in the top 10, top 5, whatever, they're going to see that 4.46 and they're going to be like, holy shit, we got to take this guy. I'm like, no, that's not the breaker. The breaker of, I don't want to draft him, but now I'm going to draft him because of his 40, to me, is fucking ridiculous. And I can't wait to break down the 5 guys that I came up with, and hopefully you can see my point.
Billboard the show already.
Well, what we got coming up, we got a loaded fucking show. In my opinion, this is what's dominating the news right now. It's Deshaun Watson. We were going to talk about how Dr. Tomas eviscerated your Kyler Murray for Deshaun Watson trade talk.
Real quick, let me just explain this. I explained, I thought, a highly intelligent idea of Mr. Masseuse being traded to the Arizona Cardinals, as you like to call them, for a Mr. Kyler Murray. Cardinals are trying to win now. I feel like the swap makes sense because Houston gets a cheap quarterback who potentially could exceed whoever. He could exceed Deshaun Watson for all the fuck I know. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, despite what Dr. Tomas says, right now, the eye test, Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson are not even close to on the same level. Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback in the league with nobody around him. So with that being said, it makes sense for the Cardinals, who got the oldest fucking team in the league, to say, hey, let's get a guy who's ready to win now. Let's move it, and let's give Houston something to work with. So to me, that makes sense. But Dr. Tomas basically said I'm out of my fucking mind. I don't agree with that, but I'm just saying that's what occurred.
We will go into that. We'll go on to what Deshaun Watson has now gotten himself into for the fact that this trade probably is never going to happen in reality.
I don't know if anyone could trade for him. I don't know if anyone's going to trade for him.
Exactly. So we'll get to that. Another big thing that we've been talking about and we've been hearing about is the New York Post basically came out and said that Corey Davis, the new Jets free agent signee, was told by Joe Douglas, the GM, that Sam Darnold was going to be the quarterback in 2021. Very, very, very interesting, juicy tidbit from Ralph Vacchiano of the New York Post.
Rocco, let me just tell you something. I'm going to get into this and explain to you how it's all bullshit. But I can't wait to hear your point of view on this whole situation.
Okay, good, because I think I'm a little on the other side. Also, we're going to go into what I was talking about on episode 2 as far as I believe that Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, is going to turn out to be the nice guy Johnny Manziel and crap out about as quickly as Johnny did. And I think the Miami Dolphins are fucked unless they get off of him. So we'll get into that.
Wrong, but we'll keep going.
Okay. And they were also talking about Tua. You got his old teammate, Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Heisman winner at Alabama, just came in at 170 pounds, 170.
Big guy.
One of the thinnest receivers, if not thinnest receiver that has been out in a long time. How does that affect his stock with our titillating, yes, and I said titillating, top 5 receivers coming out in this NFL draft? I will finish my thoughts on what I believe have been 5 big-time busts in the draft that teams have completely overreached for, and it will prove my point that this will never, never stop. And we also have to a special shout-out to Ben Armbrust for being our fan of the week, and we're going to talk about his Bengals and how they can improve this year and get their asses to the top of the AFC North.
Hang on. Rock. We're going to spend some time on the Bengals? Is that what you're telling me?
I told everybody.
We got the fan of the week in here, and we got to talk about the fucking Bengals.
It's his team, bro. We have to talk about all 32. That's my main goal with this, is we cannot be like the rest of every other fucking show, and we're going to talk about 5 teams. We're talking about 32 teams. We do want to go deep with every 32. Miami, whoever, we're going into it, and we're going deep. And then we got a couple breaking news signings as well that Dr. Tomas will bring us later. But first, we got to get into this Deshaun Watson insanity, please.
Yeah, let's get into it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even comfortable talking about this because this is
me neither.
This is getting for real. I'll tell you that right now.
No, it's for real. And we both went over the 16 lawsuits. We
16,
went over,
and they're saying it's going to be up to 24. Is what I'm hearing.
Could be more. And the craziest thing is 2 weeks ago was the last lawsuit when it happened, when it occurred 2 weeks ago. So, again, you got 16 lawsuits. The biggest issue with this Deshaun Watson case is you got a guy clearly with a fucking fetish for masseuses and doing sexual shit with masseuses in that setting. This is the thing that's obvious now. These 16 different cases show you that this isn't just a one-time thing, that this isn't just, like he really liked the broad who was rubbing on him and he decided to do this. No, he's going on Instagram to go out of his way to direct message these broads and make them come to him, or he goes to them, and then he also makes sure that no one else is involved. And even in some of the cases, ridiculously, he wanted them to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Who the fuck does that?
Let me stop you right here for 1 second. Let me help you out for 1 second. Me and Rocco both 100% respect women, and we understand the situation is much more serious than a lot of people are acknowledging. Like, I take it more seriously. He takes it more seriously. And I'm just want to say, we're giving you our point of views, but it doesn't discredit the fact that there potentially are victims in this situation. I just wanted to go out there and say that because you're kind of going down a road where it can get a little hazy. But I agree with you 100%. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I just think that everyone involved, whether it was the masseuses, whether it was Mr. Masseuse himself, Deshaun Watson, I believe that there are victims in all of this. I believe that everyone is going to come out of this negatively. The issue with me, with this thing is the coincidence. I just would love to talk this out, figure it out. He's been doing this for a year, minimum, right? Why is all of this now in the midst of the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson fight for
I
who's
agree,
going to
it's
win?
very
right?
suspicious. Very suspicious.
So the suspiciousness of the coincidence that the fact that this was not done either during the season or in the offseason prior to Deshaun Watson saying, I will never play for you guys again. To me, it's a little fucking fishy that this stuff is coming out now. But what I also will say in the defense of the plaintiffs, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. 16 different cases of Watson taking a rag off his dick, getting him to play with his asshole, wanting him to fucking play with his, his lower abs and his fucking inner groin and his fucking anus and all this bullshit.
You're really getting detailed here. Is that in the description?
It's in the fucking description. He fucking
God, man.
ejaculated on top of some broad while she was massaging him. That's what was in the lawsuit. So I don't know.
I agree. I agree that where there's smoke, there's fire. There's something going on. Let me start off by saying this. Rusty Hardin. Okay.
Yep.
This is Deshaun Watson's lawyer.
Yep. He defended Clemens and all those guys with the steroid.
No. I even got more than that. Let's go. First off, he's 79 years old. All right. Let me just put that into perspective. Some of his former clients, just to know how far back this guy goes and how reputable he is, he's got Warren Moon, Wade Boggs, Scotty Pippen. He's got Adrian Peterson, Michael Bennett, and Roger Clemens. He's also defended some corporations like ExxonMobil. So basically,
he's the biggest lawyer in Houston.
What this tells me, it's Johnny Cochran-esque.
What
this tells me is, if you got a lot of fucking money and you got a fucking issue and you're a corporate or a sports profile type of guy, this is one of your top options. That's what it tells me right off the bat. Now, what is a slight alarm and what is a slight red flag is Roger Clemens, to bring up as an example. He also came out and said firmly Roger Clemens was not using PEDs or blah, blah, blah when that whole situation occurred. And that was clearly bullshit. So, I mean, that is one thing to point out, just to say. On the other end, you have the Tony Busby of the situation. He's 53 years old, significantly younger, from Texas, ran for the Houston mayor, didn't win it. He's probably a fucking Dallas fan, probably hates the fucking Texans, so that could factor in. But I'm just saying, you got him on the other end calling all this bullshit out.
And put it on Instagram.
So you have two prominent lawyers. But I'm going to say this right now. Deshaun Watson, my personal opinion, and this could be the wrong opinion, I'm just giving you my personal opinion, is I do not think, judging by what I've heard about his character and what I've gathered, I don't think he's forced himself or done any of these things. I'm not saying any of these women are lying. I don't know. It's just my own opinion. I do think he was negligent putting himself in these situations. Like, why the fuck are you looking for masseuses on Instagram? That already is a huge red flag. Like, you're either immature, you're either fucking dumb, you're either, I don't know. Like, you're clearly not looking for masseuses if you're going on Instagram. Apparently, his normal masseuse was out of option because of COVID. He or she, or I don't know who the masseuse is, but they could not perform their normal duties because of COVID. And that's when he started pursuing other masseuses. First off, who the fuck needs up to 24 potential cases? Even if you would say 16 different masseuses all off Instagram? Bro, that doesn't sound like anything that a person who's looking for just massages is doing.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, like you said, whether smoked or fire, I do not think Deshaun Watson is completely innocent in this circumstance. But is it criminal? I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet. I need to hear more information. I know on the documents, as I'm sure you're going to go into, there's at least one case that's proven, or apparently they have hard evidence that it shows that it's not. It was clearly bullshit because of the female apparently tried to extort Deshaun Watson for like $30,000 or something like that. But here's the thing with Deshaun Watson: two things. One, it only takes one person, one female that he did this with, that I think he's an asshole and I think he's a fucking piece of shit for doing. And for the NFL, it doesn't take any of them. They could all be false. Look at Ezekiel Elliott when he had his case.
Yeah.
It doesn't take any of them. He can still get suspended. So at this point, how much attention it's garnered, it's most likely this motherfucker is going to be suspended for at least 6 to 8 games, guaranteed, no matter who the fuck gets him.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. I mean, you got 16 different cases. I think it's with 13 or 14 different women. I don't give a shit if they prove that 10 of them or 12 of them were bullshit. If one of them is legit, and maybe even 2, just depends on what one of them is. But as
that's
far
still
as,
too many. One too many.
No, I'm with you. And any of it is going to completely prove that he's got something wrong with him with this. He definitely did something wrong. And like you said, the NFL will come down on guys who never get charged. And if they suspend Zeke for 6 games, they will do that. I'm not going to throw out there that it's out of the realm of possibility that Deshaun Watson's suspended for the whole year, bro. Like, I really think that can be possible. So
I also in the female's defense, I don't throw out the possibility that he might be a fucking creeper. He might be a fucking asshole. I'm not throwing that out of the possibility either.
Absolutely.
I'm literally, my intel from anything I've heard, read, or seen is that this guy's a great guy. Now, I'm going off of that. And this is the power of the media. They're telling me that this guy's a good guy. So I immediately go, okay, this guy's a good guy. He's got a great track record. So the odds, the fact that he wants out of Houston and he wants nothing to do with, the odds are it might be a little bit more suspicious. And that's what we've been saying. But I'm just going off of, I don't know the fucking guy. The guy might be the fucking biggest scumbag in the fucking world. I don't know.
The guy obviously has a fetish, number one. Number two, he's a young, attractive, young guy who is a rich dude, won a national title with Clemson, beat Alabama, the best college team of all time, came out, got drafted high in the first round, Houston Texans starting quarterback, made his huge money. Why is he getting a $55 Instagram discount masseuse?
It's the dumbest shit I've ever
There's
seen.
a reason for it. He ain't trying to save money. He ain't trying to be the Wilt Chamberlain of masseuses where he's like, I got 10,000 of them. No. His COVID masseuse, like you said, couldn't perform the duties. Yeah, well, couldn't perform the duties. We know what the duties are now. And he was looking for that elsewhere. He's fucked. Even if all of this shit is proven that it's not, which I'm going to tell you, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's got to be at least one time here that he did something. The NFL is going to take care of him, and now that leaves everybody in the dark. The crazy thing is I don't think that stops a team for trading for him. That's what's insane. It really
You
is.
still think somebody trades for him?
I really believe
Who?
that.
Who do you think trades for him?
I'm just saying,
Probably,
I don't.
Actually, this has the Jets written all over it. We'll probably fucking sign this guy, and then fucking 3 weeks into the season, he'll end up in fucking jail for the next 10 years. That sounds like the perfect fucking Jets scenario. You mortgage your future for a fucking guy who's never going to play a fucking down.
I hate laughing about it, but it is a Jets thing to do. I just don't believe that this is enough to scare off a team, and I don't believe that this is enough for Deshaun Watson to say, you know what? I forget everything I said, Houston. I want to be back. You know what I'm saying? So I think the whole thing about it is everybody gets hurt.
I agree with you, but to be honest with you, that's the sad part of it, is that this doesn't scare people away. That is the sad part about it. Honestly, in the NFL, if you...
Talent trumps all.
I hate to say this, but if you have talent, as long as you aren't killing people, the NFL don't give a shit. And that's the sad part.
Well,
that
in the case of Aaron Hernandez and potentially Ray Lewis, I don't think they care about that either. I want to get off Deshaun because it's negative, and we want to be fucking positive. I want to get off that. I really want to get into the thing I know you're going to be most intrigued about, and I'm really intrigued too because I really believe that it's my idea that I've been sharing the past 2 episodes I think may be coming to fruition. We will see. But that's the New York Post article that says Corey Davis was told by GM Joe Douglas that Sammy Darnold was going to be the quarterback of the New York Jets in 2021.
Fucking ridiculous.
Scotty,
let me hear your thoughts on this first,
Okay.
because I already know my thoughts.
Here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing to me that could potentially make me believe this is the fact that I really don't believe, as a general manager, telling your free agents that you sign bullshit. I don't think that that's the way to operate. Telling your free agents a lie to their face to get them to come in, and then all of a sudden, bang, you pull the rug out from under them. But I've been around the game enough. I could see it happen where Sam Darnold gets traded and the number 2 pick goes to the quarterback that they love. But I wouldn't start my relationship with these new free agents that I bring in like that, telling them a bold-faced lie right to their face. So
I think you're buying into the media hype, man. I think you're fucking buying into the bullshit. And here's the thing. Realistically, what the fuck is Corey Davis supposed to say? Is he supposed to say, yeah, Joe Douglas told me we're going to get Zach Wilson, we're going to go after Deshaun Watson, we're going to go after fucking Russell Wilson? He ain't got to say that shit.
He doesn't have to say shit. He don't have to say shit.
But like, why?
So why do you say that? You know,
because they asked him. They asked him, "Do you think Sam Darnold's going to be your guy?" What's he supposed to say? No.
He can say I'd like to.
Trade leverage.
He could say I'd like him to be here. He didn't have to say shit about Joe Douglas.
Listen to me. Here's the thing. Sam Darnold, I'm a huge fan of. Sam Darnold, I think wherever he goes, I think a different change of scenery puts them both on the map. I think Sam Darnold will thrive in the right situation in a different scenario. But in the New York Jets, he is done. And there was 2 reasons why. One, because he's mentally fucking checked out. He's had fucking like 3 offensive coordinators, 2 different head coaches. I mean, it's just been a disaster. His offensive line, he hasn't had the same offensive line in God knows how long. His receivers are fucking either constantly hurt. Like, the bottom line is he's checked out of New York. He can thrive somewhere else. Now, if Sam Darnold was in the 1st or 2nd year of his contract, I might be singing a different tune here. But the problem is next year he's due $18+ million guaranteed. I think it's like $25 million is actually what it is if they do a 5th-year option. That doesn't make any sense. Reset the fucking mark. What are you gonna do? Pay this guy $25 million or $18 million, whatever the fuck it is, and then he turns out to be a fucking shit? You have to give yourself time. And guess what? Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, they didn't draft this guy. They have no ties to them. It's like football 101. When a new GM and coach come into the fucking fold, they pick their own quarterback because it buys them time. It buys them time on their goddamn career. They don't want to move their fucking kids and their family all around. They want to stay there because they want to buy themselves time and prove that their decision was better than the last guy's decision.
I'm just going to tell you, yes, I mean, it is football 101. That's what most GMs, most coaches do. But that's if the quarterback sucks. You got to think. Joe Douglas was the GM for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Or not the he was a player personnel for the Eagles, right?
He was the assistant GM for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. So and then Robert Saleh
that they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, but so you got that, right? You got Robert Saleh, who was a defensive coordinator for the Niners. He was in on
during
the draft
the time
shit.
They went to a Super Bowl.
Okay, but what I'm saying is we don't know. Maybe Saleh liked Darnold. Maybe Joe Douglas, when he was with the Eagles, liked Darnold. We don't know that, right? Just because it's, we're all at the new team now and we want to get rid of this fucking guy because he's not ours. Not necessarily. It always comes down to what I said about if they don't like Wilson, if they don't like Fields, if they don't like Lance, if they don't like Mac Jones or Trask or whatever, better than Sam Darnold, do not draft a quarterback. Just because you're drafting number 2 doesn't mean you have to draft quarterback, right?
But if they like him so much, why not say that? Why not say that and put the number 2 pick?
Because what if some team what if some team comes with like this fucking mega package that no other team was going to offer for Darnold, and they got to take it? Why wouldn't they take it? You know what I'm saying? You can't say
exactly
Darnold's
my
our guy.
point. That's exactly my point. You would say Darnold's my guy if you want to get that big deal. The only reason why they're not saying Darnold isn't their guy is because they want people to think that he might be, so that people offer a lot to pull him away. They're not going to say, hey, Darnold's not our guy, so, if you grab, so, we'll take whatever we can get. They're not going to say that. If he was their guy, they would say it. If he wasn't, they would kind of leave it open-ended, which is what they're doing.
But again, we're talking about 1 year. We're talking about 1 year where you're...
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Let me just throw out here real quick. If Corey Davis, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say Corey Davis really believes Sam Darnold's going to be his fucking quarterback going to the year. You're a fucking idiot, Corey Davis. You choose to sign with a team with the quarterback who was literally ranked 32nd in the league the last fucking 2 years. Literally. Like, what? Like, I like Sam Darnold, but what has he proven in the last 2 years?
I can't believe. This is the bizarro world. Like, I can't believe I'm the one defending Sam Darnold now.
I'm being realistic.
No, but
Fuck
I'm saying
guy.
you can't
he's
compare.
Gotta go.
You can't compare teams, though. Like, did Adam Gase get Sam Darnold, a Corey Davis, a Keelan Cole, maybe a Kyle Pitts in the draft? Like, no, he didn't have
and I'm
that.
telling you right now, as a Jet fan, I'm telling you right now, I said this from the get-go, and I'm going to say it right now again. Adam Gase, hired as a head coach, set the franchise back about 2 to 3 years. 100%. And that is the fucking fact and the deal that is the hand we were dealt. And that's what we're dealing with. And because of that, Sam Darnold can't be a part of the future because we don't have enough time to fucking groom this guy.
Well,
He turned out to be the next Peyton Manning. I don't know. But we're not going to have the pieces around him in time to find out without paying him. To me, it's ludicrous to pay this fucking guy without knowing if he is or isn't that.
Well, you will though. Like we always talk about, it's the 1 year thing. He's got the last year of the rookie deal where it's still cheap, and then by the end of the year, after you paid him that cheap money, you will know whether he's worth the 5th year option, which honestly isn't bad either. The 5th year option is probably 20 to 25 when the top dogs are making 45. So, it's half of the top dog money, and you'd only be contracted to him for that 5th year. So you get 2 years to know if he's the guy.
Rocco, let me ask you something. You agree that the Jets been pretty bad over the last 25 years? For the most part.
For the most part, yes.
Do you know how many times in the last 25 years we've had the number 1 pick, the number 2, number 1 pick? You know how many times?
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah. That's
95.
it. 1.
Yeah.
1.
This is number 2, and you guys had number 3 years ago. Doesn't
What
necessarily
I'm
mean that it means
saying
quarterback's going to be your guy.
To have a top 3 pick, even the Jets, because here's the thing, and this is what people fail to recognize. As bad as the Jets are, we get understood as being a shit organization, which we are owned that. We deserve that. We're giving it more because it's New York City, it's New York State, whatever you want to call it, even though they fucking play in New Jersey. Jacksonville, Buffalo, the Browns, there's so many more organizations that have been so much worse. And because of that, it actually affects the Jets more because the Jets have been 7-9, 6-10, 8-8, way more than all these other fucking franchises that get they don't get as much credibility for being shit as much as the Jets do. We don't get a lot of opportunities to pick in that top 3. So because of that, if you don't take one this year, what's to say we don't go fucking 5-11 next year or 6-10 next year, and we end up with the fucking 6th, 7th, 8th pick? Like, who knows? That's a fucking valid possibility. And if that's the case, who's your quarterback going to be?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, are you back in the same fold next year if you stick with Darnold and he sucks? Yes, but that doesn't mean that if you don't like these guys this year that you have to draft them. I mean, there's no...
But what's the quarterback class next year? Is it even worth a damn?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
it does matter because it's like you pass on this quarterback class where you might actually get a guy for something next year that you have to trade up and get.
I think they're gonna. You
gotta take sometimes advantage of the opportunities you're given.
They're gonna evaluate, I believe, this year compared to next year, and they're also going to evaluate next year's free agents, and they're also going to evaluate next year's potential trade partners.
And this is something not many are talking about. Why is it so out of the realm of possibility that we do draft a Zach Wilson or a Justin Fields or I don't know, whoever the fuck they want to draft at number 2? We do draft a quarterback and we keep Sam Darnold. Why is that out of the realm of possibility? Like, why can't we keep Sam Darnold until the fucking trade deadline? Maybe even start Darnold for the first 3 games to see how he looks with a little bit better roster, and then if he sucks still, then trade him at the deadline or roll him as the backup for the next year and then cut him. Why is that out of the realm of possibility?
It's not out of the realm. Normally, when they say you got 2 quarterbacks, you have none. We saw that.
Tell that to New Orleans.
We saw that with Philadelphia. Could implode the locker room. You might not get the best out of Darnold, but then again, you might also get something better out of Darnold because he's got a fire up under his ass. Problem is you can't draft that number 1 quarterback, find out that Darnold's for real, and then still have those guys in year 2. So you got to get rid of one of them. I don't see that happening at all because then also Darnold can give you something back. You don't want to hold on to Darnold, create a bunch of controversy, and then still...
He's not giving you more than a 2nd-round pick.
That's something, especially if you know that you're going to get off of him. But I really don't think the Jets know they're getting off of him. I think they have to do more work, which is insane because the draft's in a month. Honestly, I just think the fucking Jets really don't know what they want to do yet.
They're a fucking dumpster fire.
I don't think they do. So, like we've talked about, do they want to trade, get more picks, and hopefully don't get too far away from the Kyle Pitts sweepstakes? Maybe. I'd love to see him trade with Atlanta at 4. But other than that, maybe they'll get more picks. Maybe they'll take the quarterback. or one of these receivers. Who the hell knows? But honestly, I don't think lying to Corey Davis to his face would be the best standard of practice that Joey Douglas would do.
I'm not sold that he was lied to. I'm more sold on the fact that Corey Davis is saying what he thinks he needs to say.
Yeah, again, I just believe
if he was lied to, then yeah, Joe Douglas fucked up. I agree with you, but I think a lot of times with these media people, they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this and this happened. I can't believe this and this was said." I think a lot of times it's like, what else are you going to say? You know what I mean? I'm going to say sometimes what I think people want to hear. And if I think, hey, Darnold's a goner, and somebody calls me out on fucking in the media, and I know millions of people are watching, including all the New York fan base, who's to say I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I think Darnold is going to be the quarterback. Like, I would probably say the same shit. So I'm not 100% sold. Joe Douglas said that, personally.
Yeah. All right, well then, speaking of the AFC East, our little argument on episode 2 about the Buffalo Bills being at the top of the division and the Patriots being right there slightly underneath because the Miami Dolphins are fucked. Again, I want to bring up the fact that I believe Tua is going to be the nice guy version of Johnny Manziel. The Johnny Manziel came out in 2000 after the 2013 season into the 2014 NFL draft, and he was a fucking god. Johnny Football, they called him. And he did shit that at that point in time we did not ever see a quarterback do, and especially to the University of Alabama as well, their defense. Then here comes Tua. You know Tua's story. This freshman year, he gets inserted in a national championship game for Jalen Hurts. Bang, he throws that gorgeous fucking 50-yard ball on the sideline to Devontae Smith in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown to win it in overtime. And then he's get the next 2 seasons, you're like, man, this guy's going to be the Heisman. This guy's one of the most intriguing talents we've ever seen at quarterback. Smart, unbelievable accuracy, a winner. And he's a lefty, so now you got everything that we really haven't seen at this point as well from someone that size. And he comes in to the 2019 college football season. Boom, complete hip injury, devastating hip injury. That was the year that everybody said.
What are you talking about, Tua?
Tua. Everybody said that the NFL teams that year were tanking for Tua. That was the phrase, tanking for Tua. Everybody wanted to finish number 1 so they can get him. Miami looked like they were going to do that for a long time, and then all of a sudden they started winning some games. Flores got that team back, and then Tua drops to 5 to the Miami fucking Dolphins, and they didn't have to move anywhere to tank for fucking Tua. Yeah, Tua never went number 1, number 2.
Suck that 5. Tiger dick, fucking Joe Burrow showed up.
Yeah. Joe Burrow showed up, sure, but if Tua was healthy, in my opinion, he could have been number 2, and he just wasn't. And Miami sitting at number 5, grabbed him. They didn't have to tank for him. I believe Flores knew what they were doing, knew what they had. Problem is when he got into the pros, and you see him play for Miami coming in after Fitzpatrick, you're like, holy shit, I'd rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback.
Fitzmagic is what
this is the fucking guy that we drafted in the first round that everybody had to tank for. This is the guy, and I just see he's too happy. He's too giddy. He's like smiling all the time. He's saying all this.
Rocco don't like anybody that's happy. Rocco don't like miserable people.
It's unbelievable. Like, as a quarterback especially, you got to be even keeled. You can't be an asshole, and you can't be Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. And he's like a little child almost on the sideline when you see him. And even on the field, it's like, where is this guy that we saw at Alabama? He's gone. He's not there anymore. And that's exactly what happened with Johnny Manziel, but the other way. It was not only did his play on the field not show up from Texas A&M, but the fact that his off-field issues kept following him tenfold after you gave him more money. Like I said, nice guy Johnny Manziel. He won't get into that shit, but he will completely set the Miami Dolphins back another 3 years on his contract if they don't get him off the team. So they got to get off of him, in my opinion.
I want to comment on the rest of the team, on how good the defense is, how good the offense is. Like, do you not want to talk about anything else?
In my opinion, the Miami Dolphins got worse in free agency. Not only are you going to get worse in free agency.
You're out of your fucking tits.
Now they don't have fucking Fitzpatrick to bail him out anymore. You know, what are they going to do when Tua starts struggling again with those fucking games that he had last year where he looked awful? Looked like he didn't belong on a practice field, let alone playing in a game. Now Fitzpatrick is not there. What are they going to do? It ain't going to be Jacoby Brissett that they signed. He ain't the Fitzpatrick. He ain't the Fitzmagic. I'm going to come out and say this right now. I thought Miami signing Will Fuller to maybe help him out down the field maybe was the impetus for them to move from number 3 and not stay there. Today I see them taking a fucking quarterback, Scotty. I can see Miami taking a chance if they love a guy, just like say the Chiefs did with Mahomes or the Texans did with Watson, if they loved a guy so much that you're like, I can't let this guy go, or he, I thought he was going to go number 2 and he didn't go number 2, why not?
You're out of your fucking tits. I'll tell you right now. My issue with Tua is the fact that he gets hurt, okay? My issue with Tua is the fact that he's, it's like you've said a million times, availability is the best ability. Now, I agree. He gets hurt a lot. But like a Jimmy G, Tua is a fucking winner. He wins. I can't.
You know who else was a winner?
Who?
Tim Tebow. Would you take him?
No.
Who gives a shit about winner? It's the same thing about Mac Jones. It's the same thing about A.J. McCarron. It's the same thing about friggin' Greg McElroy, and you know about Greg McElroy. Would you take these motherfuckers? No, that they were the winningest quarterbacks for the
McElroy never won shit in the NFL.
I'm saying I'm talking about in college. These are all Alabama quarterbacks who are winners. It doesn't matter. Tim Tebow was a winner in college. He wasn't a winner necessarily in the NFL, but you wouldn't take the guy.
Tua. 1,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for 10 games.
Yeah, that sounds like a number 5 pick in the best number 5 pick I've ever heard.
That's not great, but it wasn't god awful. All he needed to do is be a little better.
Tua. This is the guy they were supposed to tank for, and that's the stats. This is the guy that everybody. This is like Trevor Lawrence. You want to talk about Trevor Lawrence?
I agree with you. Yeah. I wouldn't have tanked for him. I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is, am I going to act like this guy sucks? The jury's out. The offense wasn't great.
I'm fucking in, baby. And I said guilty.
No, the jury's out. The jury's out. I think he can be better than what we're giving him credit for. I mean, I'm not saying I think Tua is going to be the greatest. I'm not 100% sold on Tua. But am I ready to quit on Tua? Not even close. So many people are so ready to jump off the bandwagon on these fucking quarterbacks immediately.
Let me ask you a question.
Quarterbacks need to develop, man.
This is the big one.
You got Will Fuller. If he stays healthy, that's going to be a big fucking help.
He never has. I will tell you something right now. I'll tell you something right now. If you want to go back to the draft with Arizona, right? The Arizona Cardinals, they select in the unbelievable draft. You got Baker Mayfield, you got Sam Darnold, you had Josh Allen, you had Lamar Jackson at the end of the first round. But who did the Arizona Cardinals take? Oh, that's right, fucking Josh Rosen from UCLA. What happened to him? Oh, that's right, the next year the Arizona Cardinals selected Kyler Murray with the first pick in the first round. They got off of Rosen the next year. It's not impossible.
Do you think if you ripped off him after 2 seasons, look what happened on the 3rd season. Look what happened on the 4th. This guy needed time to develop. He needed pieces around him.
But you saw things in the first year. You didn't see shit with Rosen. You saw Rosen was not ready. Tua, you see he's not ready. To me,
Josh Allen looked like shit his first 2 years.
To me, I really believe that Tua is not a 6'5" guy who can run and who can throw the ball 85 yards.
Because he's not a 6'5" guy. He's like a 5 foot fucking 9 guy.
That's what I'm saying. He's 6 foot tall, not very athletically built.
Good word.
And you want to see a guy have a little bit more mobility and a lot better with his injuries. That's for sure. So no, he's not Josh Allen. He's not going to be one of these guys that you're like, let's hang on to him because he's got a lot of this. Tua won a lot of games, yes, but he doesn't have any wow factor to him, and he's got the injuries. So I'm not gonna hold on to him to think maybe some more shit's gonna sprout. Because what is?
I don't think you could say Tua's done. You can't say it's a finished product by all means. We don't take enough time to really see these guys. This guy had a 64% completion percentage. He had 1,800 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I understand that was only in a 10-game window or 10-game stretch, but and that's not great, but it's not terrible either. Fitzmagic over here, 68.5% completion percentage, 2,091 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's not a whole lot different. The offense was ranked 15th. The defense was ranked 6th. I can't imagine that offense is going to be worse with Fuller, worse with another year under Tua's belt, worse with some of the other pieces that they're going to acquire from now till the start of the season. Are we really going to say that the offense can't get even a smidge better? And that defense, I don't think is going anywhere.
Here's the thing, though. I get that. And their defense and Flores, they ain't going anywhere. The argument that I'm making here is not the fact that this guy is supposed to be Trent Dilfer. The argument is this was what everybody was tanking for. And like I said earlier about Josh Rosen, Arizona saw it. They weren't willing to say, well, shit, the next year or two, we got to get him a bunch of pieces and blah, 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 because they didn't see shit. You got to see something. It's really like Darnold as well. You surround him with talent, right? I think Darnold's got talent. I've seen flashes. You've seen flashes. I haven't seen shit from Tua, and he's an injury-prone type guy. So to me, they got to get the fuck off of him.
On a scale 1 to 10, how nervous or how for real do you think the Dolphins are on moving on from Tua this season?
It's the same exact problem of the Jets. I don't know how much they love these quarterbacks. If that draft room says Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, they have a higher grade than they did with Tua last year, why not? Why not?
Why not give him one more year?
If I'm the GM, I gotta know.
Are you moving on already?
I fucked up with Tua. I gotta know. Because last year
10 games, that's it. I'm done.
But you had Fitzpatrick bail you out of games that Tua fucking was blowing, and then you said, "Shit, this was the guy that everybody wanted to tank for." I would much rather have drafted fucking Justin Herbert.
Oh, Herbert's
you know
a
what I'm
stud.
saying? So
What a
like
stud
that's
this
the
kid is,
argument. I don't want a fucking game manager that everybody was supposed to tank for. I want a guy who's going to lead my franchise and make everybody forget about fucking Dan Marino. Tua ain't going to do that. So if you like Zach Wilson, if you think he's the guy, if you think Justin Fields or Trey Lance can do that, get him. Because to me, like Arizona did with Rosen and Kyler, you get the fuck off the guy and you get the guy that you think is better. The league moves too fast. These guys move teams too fucking fast. The window of opportunity for some of these superstars is so fucking tiny sometimes that you have to cash in fast. And you can't be wasting years to see if you got a legit quarterback or not. So that's my argument. If they like a quarterback, I would say 10. If they don't like a quarterback as much as they did with Tua, I'd say 1. Then you fucking get more picks, you surround him with more players, and you see what he's got. If I'm the GM, I say, I admit I fucked up, and I'm going to get another guy.
Yeah, I think we're making two different arguments here. I think your argument is he was overrated for what he was supposed to be coming into this draft, into this season. But I think I'm just making the argument you can't tell he's a bust yet. It's just too soon to tell. Like we need some more time before we can tell. And let me throw this little nugget out there for you. By the way,
you can do a little sprinkle.
Yeah, like a little sprinkle. Have you heard? Speaking of Fitz magic, the Washington football team is considering making their team name official.
Have I fucking heard?
It'll be the Washington football team.
I almost didn't even want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you because I was so fucking pissed off about it. I know people have this strong feeling about the name change from Redskins to Washington football team.
And I'm okay with that. If it's offending people, then that's fine.
If it's offending
Let's
people,
change it.
fine.
But the Washington football
where
team?
the fuck's everybody been for 80 years, right? But I'll get off of that, and I'll say if we're going to change the name, the Washington football team that's what they believe they're going to stick with permanently.
That was the best you could do.
Give me a fucking break.
Real original.
Oh, all right. Let's get off Miami. Let's get off Tua. Let's forget about how he's going to be the nice guy, Johnny Manziel. I want to talk about his old teammate at Alabama, Devontae Smith. Did you see 170, 170 pounds? This guy weighed in at. Heisman winner.
Like 5'11", too.
Heisman winner. He's skin and bone. But, if this guy can handle the new league, which this is not the old league. This is not the I'm going to chuck your ass on the line of scrimmage and you can't get off anymore.
No, it's the pity pat league.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting hurt. You can't even hit a receiver who's not looking.
And it's flag football, once you get downfield. So in the olden days, I would have said Devontae Smith's fucked. But it's not that day anymore. And we're going to go into our titillating, yes, I said titillating top 5.
I still haven't figured out what that word means.
Well, you better get a dictionary.
Trying to figure it out.
You better get a dictionary.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it out pretty soon.
Top 5 receivers in the draft. I really believe that both of us are in agreement with who's at the top. Jamar Chase from LSU is, even though he sat out the whole season 2020, this guy almost single-handedly with Justin Jefferson made Joe Burrow into the number 1 pick for Cincinnati.
Both of these motherfuckers, by the way.
So
no wonder why he won the whole thing.
Forget about it. And then they had Randy Moss's son at tight end. I mean, it was insane. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the backfield. So Jamar Chase, stud, everything you want out of a receiver, complete package. I hope the year off didn't fuck him up, but he should be the first receiver off the board.
I agree. I think he is the whole package. I think the only thing literally that hurts him in evaluating him is the fact that he took a year off because of COVID.
Yeah.
That is it.
And that's the
Other
con.
than that, he's got the build, he's got the speed, he's got the route, he's got the hands.
He's a
but,
fucking stud muffin.
We just haven't seen him in a year. That's it.
Yeah. Now this is where we may differ. My number 2, he unfortunately got hurt because I really believe if he did not get hurt,
Oh my God.
we are talking about,
fucking nuts.
we're talking about, Jalen Waddle.
God. Wait, are you ranking these based on how they're going to perform in the NFL or ranking them based on how they performed in college last year? Because if you're going to put Devontae Smith third compared to Waddle, I mean, fuck, who knows? You might put him fourth or fifth. I don't even know. But it's insane. You don't have him at least top 2. Jamar Chase, I can give you a pass on that one. You got Waddle as 2?
Are
you kidding me?
I need you to watch the tape. Here's what I believe. I believe if Waddle's healthy, Devontae Smith doesn't win a Heisman Trophy. It's as simple as that.
Maybe so. But guess what? He wasn't healthy. And Devontae Smith did win the Heisman, and he also had possibly the greatest fucking year for a receiver ever. He did have the greatest receiver year for I'm not saying possibly. But he had the greatest year for a receiver ever.
But here's the thing. Devontae Smith got a little lucky with the if Devontae Smith had the same stats in the same year that Joe Burrow won the Heisman, Devontae Smith's not winning the Heisman, okay? So Devontae Smith had a fantastic year, but yet he didn't have a huge other guy to contend with that said, you know what, we shouldn't give it to him. Joe Burrow was fucking, nobody was going to beat him. Nobody was going to touch him in the Heisman. If Devontae Smith had that, then he wouldn't have won. And I really believe, again, if Jalen Waddle's healthy the whole year, Devontae Smith doesn't win the Heisman Trophy. Maybe it's fucking Mac Jones. Who knows? But I think if Waddle...
Fucking Mac Jones.
Here's the reason why. I'll give you a couple reasons why I have him ahead of Smith. Smith, to me, is an outside guy. He's going to line up at X and Y. I think Waddle can line up all over the field. I think he could be a Tyreek Hill type player. You put him outside, you put him inside, you put him in a fucking backfield. You got jet sweep.
What's his?
You can do option shit with him. Waddle, to me, you put all over the place. I wouldn't necessarily do that with Devontae Smith.
I can see that because he's definitely a bigger build. He's like a 5'10". I think he's like 180 pounds, 182 pounds. But the Devontae Smith comparisons are Marvin Harrison. Who the fuck you taking, Marvin Harrison or Anquan Bolden? If I said those are the two comparisons.
Same exact thing. Marvin Harrison was skin and bone, but he was silky smooth, nasty hands.
In a league where you're not getting hit anymore. These guys aren't getting hit, and they got all day now to throw because, God forbid, you sneeze on the fucking quarterback. It's a penalty.
I got it. But if you can put Waddle everywhere, I'd rather have the guy that's everywhere than the guy that just lines up on the outside. So, that, and it's not a huge fucking difference, and you're blowing my number 3. Number 3 is Devontae Smith. I think, I think honestly, I think it's not huge, but if I'm going to take one or the two, I'd rather have Waddle. So
let me can I throw some numbers out? I know you don't like the numbers, but I like numbers.
Fucking numbers guy.
I love
unbelievable
numbers.
Loves numbers.
Ready?
Fucking stat guy over here.
Devontae Smith. Okay, we all know he had 117 receptions this year. The last 2 years before that, 68 receptions. Year before that, 42 receptions. So he's gotten increasingly better. Okay, let's look at Jalen Waddle. Now this year, obviously, he only had 28 because of fucking was hurt. But the year before, 33 and 45 the year before that. That's technically a decline year to year. Technically. Yeah. I'm not counting it this year, but that's a big difference. Even if you want to say he was going to increase and was going to do 45 or 60, that doesn't touch the 68 Devontae Smith had the year before. It's more comparable to his rookie year, or his freshman year, sorry. And 117, even if you took, 50 of those away, he's still smoking Jalen Waddle on his receptions.
But here's the thing.
I'm not even going to get into yards. I'm just saying, just receptions alone.
You're forgetting about Waddle does all of the kick returning, all of the punt returning. Last year, he played with Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith. The year before that, he played with Jerry Jeudy and Calvin Ridley. He's never been the number one guy there. Never. I mean, it's always a package. This year was Waddle, Smith, and John Mechie.
So he's like a Juju. He's good with it, and he's got a number one around him.
I don't think personally.
Fucking Juju.
I don't think Waddle or Smith. I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think Waddle or Smith is going to be your number one guy. That's why you take Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase is a number one receiver. Waddle
I agree
and Smith, I think,
Chase.
could be nasty twos, right? So, yeah, you can't argue about Waddle and Smith and the fucking stats. The stats are so insane. Alabama completely flipped their offense upside down. this year with Mac Jones. Completely different game than they usually did. They threw the ball a shit ton, and it worked for him apparently. My number 4 is a local
can't
guy.
wait.
Local
Ooh.
guy played here in Louisville, Kentucky. Then he went to Purdue, and
He's a cow tipper.
holy shit. If you can get this guy, Rondale Moore, if you get him and you stick him in your slot, good luck to any slot corner. Good luck to any safety.
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore. You can use him as a slot back,
Shit.
scat back, anything you want. He to me, just because he went to Purdue, he hasn't gotten any type of, and he sat out also this season for COVID. He hasn't gotten the play that a lot of these guys have, and he will be a fucking steal. He's one of those guys, just like I talked about earlier with the fucking combine. He's gonna give you these glitzy ass fucking stat. Like he just jumped like 43 inches. He ran at like a 4.45 40, all that shit. But it still translates on the tape. This kid is a nasty fucking player. And in the league where the receivers are getting smaller, the slots are so much just as important as the outside guys, you're going to get this guy and you will be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, so I don't know a lot about this guy, but from everything I've read, everything I've talked to people about, it is pretty impressive. I mean, in 2018, he had a great year even then, and his
As a freshman.
quarterback. Yeah, his quarterback, I think he had like 114 receptions or something like that with 1,200 yards. His quarterback was a guy named David Blau or Blow. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Somebody no one's ever heard of.
Blah.
But I have no fucking clue who this guy is. But he still, as a freshman, broke out. But he's a smaller guy. That's my only concern. He's 5'9". There aren't too many people out there that are that small. But I will give you this little sprinkle.
Another sprinkle.
A little sprinkle.
I love the springs.
Yeah. Your boy, Cole Beasley.
Oh, boy.
Cole Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
He checks in at about 5'8", 174 pounds.
Yeah.
And I personally think Cole Beasley is a pretty reliable slot guy. Now, I know you're talking about Rondale Moore being obviously a little bit more impactful than
Hey, it's
Cole Beasley's
Rondale.
been.
Rondale Moore.
But I think Mr. Beasley is not a bad comparison.
No, just imagine Cole Beasley with a shit ton more speed and wiggle. I mean, how about that? So yeah, I like him. I've seen him in person play, and I've seen him, and he's a great kid. So I think he's number 4. Number 5, as we all know, my boy Kyle Pitts, who.
Fucking Kyle Pitts is a fucking tight end. Mr. Pots and Pans is not a fucking wide receiver.
Can you just let me fucking finish? Holy shit.
First episode or second episode, whatever the fuck episode it was, I tell you, Mr. Potts is more of a slot receiver. You're like, no, he's a tight end. He does this, he does that. Now we're categorizing him in the top 5 wide receivers.
He actually should be, and he would already be number 1 anyway. But no, we're talking about his teammate.
Mr. Potts.
We're talking about his teammate,
jerk off.
Kadarius Toney. Another guy who will play probably slot in the NFL, smaller guy frame-wise, but he runs past people. And I really think that all of the hype from Pitts will get a lot of people watching Florida tape, and I think that will get Toney above some of these other guys. A couple other guys that maybe could be in that top 5. But I think that's my top 5. I think that's what you're going to look at receiver-wise in the draft.
I agree with you. Can I add one more, actually?
You're going to do a bonus?
Yeah, bonus.
All right, we'll give Scotty G a bonus.
Yeah, it's a guy who's he didn't play as well in 2020. 2020 with COVID fucked everything up for everybody. Mm-hmm. But another guy that I remember watching a little bit of, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota.
Okay.
Is another guy to keep an eye on.
Yep.
He's about 6'2". He's a little bit bigger. He's like 200 pounds, 205 pounds, 210 pounds, whatever the fuck he is. But he's a little bit bigger of a body. But as a sophomore, he had like 1,200 yards. He had like 60 catches, something crazy like that. And he helped make Minnesota a little bit better than what they normally are. So he's another guy I think is something to keep an eye on.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can deal with that. We're talking about the draft, talking about receivers and talking about speed and, and just how fucking sexy that is for teams, right? Well, I came up with 5 guys that will prove my fucking point that when you overvalue the combine, when you overvalue pro days, This is what happens to you.
They say speed wins, man. They say speed wins.
Look at the tape, okay? You have to look at the tape. And then you say, if there is maybe a slight difference, or like we got a tie on these two guys, then maybe you go to the combine and the fucking pro day and you compare. Or you go to the interview and say, was this guy a fucking dickhead? Was he a moron? Whatever. Does he love the game? I get that. But to make a fucking leap to reach these guys in the first round above than some of the other guys that got drafted, I'm going to say, it will blow your fucking mind. Here we go.
Wait, real quick, just to add to your little fucking speech here, your little rant, they are actually taking into consideration that the 40-yard dash might not be as impactful as it has been in the past, and they're apparently coming up with some new system to track game speed, because just to back your point. So, but you go ahead. Let's hear your shit.
No. Oh, so you're saying that like this shit that we've been seeing the past couple years.
They're basically saying like, yeah, you're right. They're saying Rocco B, you're not that fucking far off. You're not out of your tits. You're not out of your tits. There's a lot. They're seeing what you're seeing. It just took them fucking 40 years to figure it out.
Well, let me give you why. Because 26 years ago in 1995, there's a poster child for overstepping your fucking boundaries at the combine. Mike Mamula, defensive end for those piece of shit Eagles, right? He got drafted 7th. He was Boston College. He was maybe a marginal first-round talent, maybe at the time. The Eagles needed a defensive lineman, right? The Eagles, instead of getting the legend, the future Hall of Famer, Warren Sapp, who went 12th
he was okay
to Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
5 picks.
Right. I think he helped them a little bit.
Yeah, I think he I don't know, won a Super Bowl, went to the fucking Hall of Fame. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
This guy they drafted 7th because he literally tore the combine apart. Bench press, shuttle run, 40-yard dash. The guy ran a 4.5 40 as a big ass, like 280-pound defensive end. Okay, they were shooting in their shorts in '95, seeing that shit, right?
Why do you like saying that so much?
The guy crapped out.
I like that term, shooting in your shorts. The fuck is that?
The guy crapped out.
Say something else.
The guy crapped out. Okay, out of your tits. All right. I'll shoot my shorts. You're out of your tits. Here's the thing. So you got that right. That's to me that was a huge stretch on a lineman, right? But I believe the biggest stretch is what we're talking about is the 40-yard fucking dash, and I believe the biggest stretches have been at wide receiver. And these teams taking these fucking wideouts because of their 40 time, and they don't realize that maybe they were born with 4 feet, they don't have any fucking hands, or it's just track speed. They don't know how to get off the ball in real life, off of a corner. They don't know how to adjust to the ball in the air and catch it. Oh, I don't know. That's kind of like the game of fucking football, right? Let me start with...
Real quick, the Eagles and Raiders are like notorious falling in love with speed. And
what did they do this year?
No clue
what did the Eagles do this year, right? They passed on.
What did the Raiders do?
They passed on Justin Jefferson. Let me get there. They passed on Justin Jefferson, and they drafted Jalen Reagor, right? Yeah, that's a good pick. Justin Jefferson should have won Rookie of the Year, right? Darius Hayward-Bay, 2009, the Raiders. Draft him 7th overall. 7th. This was a kid.
I told you the Raiders love this shit.
Kid out of Maryland who wasn't even thought of in the first round. He runs like a 4.30 40. And this motherfucker was drafted before Jeremy Maclin, before Michael Crabtree, before Percy Harvin, and before Julian Edelman. Would you rather have Darius Hayward-Bay than those 4 other guys?
No, of course not.
Set the Raiders back.
Yeah.
Set the Raiders back. Then 4 years later, 2013, Tavon Austin. He gets drafted 8th, right? 8th overall. He was a little 5'8", do-it-all for West Virginia, had stats out the ass, ran a 4.34. And the St. Louis Rams said, you know what? We're going to draft this guy because we don't want DeAndre Hopkins. We don't want Keenan Allen. No. Tavon Austin, Mr. 5'8", run real fast, is going to be better than legendary DeAndre Hopkins.
Just so you know, too, I remember that draft. Travis Kelce went in like the 3rd round of that draft. The only one who did worse than that with fucking Tavon Austin was the Jets with D. Milner on that fucking draft.
D. Milner. Oh,
Terrible. God, what a
oh
terrible
yeah,
pick.
they had D.
Like,
Milner, Calvin Pryor.
Let's not talk about the
how many
Jets. Let's
guys
go
did
back.
they miss at
Oh
a
my
defensive
God.
backfield?
Keep going. There you
Okay.
go.
Then here's Darius Hayward-Bay was bad, but here's two of the worst that I've seen. John Ross, 2017. He got drafted 9th because he ran a lightning fast 4.22 in the draft. 4.22. Even though at Washington he proved.
You said that real Kentucky. 4.22.
Hey, I'll tell you. I mean, he ran a 4.22.
Why do you say it like that?
goddamn
You
fast.
just say 4.22 like a normal fucking person? You had to add the Kentucky in there.
But look who he's drafted before. He was drafted before Juju Smith-Schuster, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay. Terrible. Cincy just got rid of him.
The only person I think John Ross is better than in that whole list is Juju Smith-Schuster because he's a fucking jerk off. That's the only guy.
And the guy that you also wanted to talk about with the Raiders this past year, Henry Ruggs. Everybody knew he was a straight line guy. Everybody knew he was the smallest guy of the top three. And
in one of the greatest receiving drafts of all time.
The guy, they took him before Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb. The Raiders could have had Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb just because Henry Ruggs ran a 4.27.
Can I just because it's fresh in my mind, can I just also tell you some other guys that they passed on?
I would love
a little guy named I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name is T. Higgins. He was
second round.
Okay.
Second round.
He was okay. How about Michael fucking Pittman? This kid, you don't even know about him yet because he got hurt. But I'm telling you, he's gonna be a stud.
No, he's. I used to watch
Justin
USC all the time.
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson too. Yeah.
Oh, and then I'm gonna tell you the one thing I think the Jets did all right. Denzel Mims looks fucking like a stud. Honestly.
I mean, we're talking Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb here. I mean, you kidding me?
I'm just saying all these guys have looked better. The only thing fucking Ruggs did was fucking help the fucking Jets not get the fucking Trevor Lawrence. That's all he did.
The Raiders are on this fucking list twice, and I'm sure they would have done it again. All right, so there's a couple signings that I believe Dr. Tomas had sent me. And
okay, go for it.
I'll tell you what.
Dr. Tomas hates me right now because I talk shit about his Sixers all the time. I was like, go ahead.
He says to your Jets, Tevin Coleman, the first guy to come over from the Niners.
Oh, I like that.
Nice
I
little,
like that
nice
pick
little
a lot.
1 year deal, a little $2 million for your running back
Dirt
crew.
cheap. I told you if the Jets get one guy, if they get somebody, they're not going to pay him a lot because these running backs coming out of the draft, they're a fucking dime a dozen. So why are you going to pay a lot? That's why I was saying a guy like Mike Davis, who I thought was going to get paid.
I really wish it was Mike Davis.
Didn't get paid.
Yeah,
I wish so too. But I'm just saying.
I really wish it was Mike Davis. Mike Davis goes to Atlanta on a 2-year deal that's worth $5.5. That's fucking got Jets written all over it. I don't know why they didn't.
That's
do that.
still pretty cheap, but I don't know.
Yeah, so
he should have got paid more. Honestly,
so that's Tevin going to the Jets. But then you got two re-signings, two guys that were on my list of guys that you want to sign for your team. T.Y. Hilton re-signs with the Colts. Shockingly, 1-year deal for $10 million. And Ndamukong Suh goes back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to make them the favorite to repeat another 1-year $10 million deal.
I got two things for you. One, this free agency has been boring as fuck. It was supposed to be so riveting. It really has not. It's been pretty practical.
You know what it is?
You can guess what was going to happen. First off,
That's the quarterbacks.
Like honestly, other than the Patriots fucking signing everybody for overpricing them, and then a couple other guys like maybe like a Curtis Samuel, who half the fucking people in the world don't even know who he is, and like a couple other guys that were like I think will make an actual impact on a team. For the most part, it's been pretty mellow, which has been it's like embarrassing because this was one of the most hyped up free agencies in a while.
You know why it was hyped up? Because of jerk off Adam Schefter. That's why it was hyped up.
You're right.
Know?
But I'm just saying it's been a bust so far. And then the other thing I got to say,
because the quarterbacks haven't moved. Yeah.
The second thing is, which I don't think we're going to get into right now. I don't think we should because I can probably talk about this for a while. But I just got to throw it out there for you because I think it's crazy. Dr. Tomas told me.
Oh boy.
He thinks Tampa overrated. He says that they might not even make the playoffs.
He's fucking out of his tits. Is he nuts?
He says they might not even make the playoffs. And if he makes the playoffs, he thinks they're a one and done. Like they're out in the first round.
Is he ridiculous?
He thinks that there's no chance that they repeat. But I'm just telling you right now, he thinks Tampa's out of the question for any kind of deep playoff run or Super Bowl chance. No way, no how.
I think Dr. Tomas needs a wellness check. That's what I think.
I think Dr. Tomas needs a drug test. Is what I
Holy
think.
shit.
He's on a lot of drugs.
We will get into that. Guess what? Fans, listeners, I believe this is the only apropos thing to tell you right now. We will get into that on episode 4. We will, because that to me is one of the craziest takes.
We're gonna have to get Dr. Tomas on here because I'm with you.
We have to. He's out of his
fucking. It's gonna be boring.
tits.
Me and you saying the same shit.
He's out of
so
his
I'm gonna have
tits.
to get him on here and have him tell us how the fuck he thinks that's not gonna happen. That they're even gonna potentially miss the playoffs. You kidding me?
Out of his tits. And then also, let me just drop the last one. My Dallas Cowboys, they're going to revamp a little bit. They told Aldon Smith, of course, they're not going to re-sign him. Tyrone Crawford, another stalwart on the defensive line, has told them that he's going to retire. They're going to be, if Sean Lee retires, which chances are he does, the Dallas Cowboys are going to have a different looking defense than they've had in a long time. And honestly, with Dan Quinn, I think that's a good thing. If we can get Dak's head out of his ass, and if we can stop
Such a fucking Dak hater, I can't believe it.
He's just a stat monster. We'll get into that later as well.
I fucking love
He's
Dak.
a stat monster. He's a fucking
we gotta
quarterback.
well, listen to me. We gotta have an episode where we go through these divisions and we pick the winner. And I'm telling you right now, spoiler alert, I'm not gonna tell you who, but it ain't the Dallas Cowboys winning the NFC East. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, you're not fucking chapping my ass. I mean, anybody would pick him
A
right
lot of
now.
people, including Vegas, is picking Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's maybe because the rest of the teams have a lot of issues. And in one team, in my mind, Washington doesn't have as many issues, especially now that they got Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
but
mine's not Washington either.
yeah, you're fucking nuts. So I would say that's enough with the breaking news. And I did promise that the fan of the week, Ben Armbrust, that we were going to talk about his Bengals and
The fucking Bungles.
And yeah, you call them the Bungles. I call them the Bengals now.
They're
'Cause
the fucking Bungles.
my boy Joey
Joe
Burrow
Burrow's the shit.
is the fucking man, and he's
I
going to
love
turn
Joe
that
Burrow.
shit around.
I love Joe Burrow. I love T. Higgins. I love Carl Lawson.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now he's at the gym. Thank you. I just want to. He wants to know, how do they get out of the fucking basement in the AFC North? And I'll tell you how. At number 5, this would be killer for them if they can draft Kyle Pitts. If Kyle Pitts is there, but here's the thing.
Penei Sewell.
No, here's the thing. If Sewell's there,
Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell, huh?
Penei Sewell, man.
It's like, when we go to our favorite,
Come on, man.
Artilio's place, he's like, what do you want tonight? These guys are coming in all the time. How about a Penei Sewell, huh? No, listen, here's the thing. If Pitts is there, it's going to be hard to fucking not take him, right? But what do you need, Cincy? What do you need? You have to protect your
offensive
fucking
line. Exactly.
Thank you. You have to protect your golden fucking goose.
So what are we talking about here? Penei
But I
Sewell.
wouldn't take Penei Sewell, though.
Is it Penei or is it Penny or what is it?
It's Penei. It's Penei.
Penei.
I would take Elijah Vera Tucker from USC. This kid is to me, he's like Tyron Smith's fucking little brother. He can play anywhere on the line. He can even snap for you. He'll play anywhere on the line. And honestly, if you look at the Bengals depth chart and you look at the offensive linemen they have, they're cool on the outside right now. But they need someone after Riley Reif just signed. Riley Reif's going to play their right tackle. You got Jonah Williams, their first-round pick 2 years ago, is going to play left tackle. They're a little soft on the inside. I'd put Vera Tucker on the inside this year. Riley Reif's only on a 1-year deal, shockingly. Once he's gone, you put Vera Tucker back on the outside, and then next year you draft inside again. Penei Sewell could be people think he's a generational talent. I'm with you. I'd be torn between Penei Sewell, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Kyle Pitts. I almost think that there's a chance that Sewell and Pitts are gone before number 5. So that's why Elijah Vera Tucker would be a great pick, especially, say, if they wanted to trade out. If they wanted to trade out into 6, 7, 8, boom, perfect pick. And then in their
you wanna win the AFC North. There's 2 things you need to do. I'm telling you right now, because it hasn't changed in the last 20, 30 years.
Talk to Ben.
There's 2 things you need to do. You need to build that offensive line, and you need to build that defense, mostly that defensive line, because that is a hard-nosed fucking division. That division is no joke. I will argue that division has been one of, if not the best division for the past like 15, 20 years. Because other than maybe a couple years with the NFC West with San Fran and Seattle in them, this division, Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, they've been, even the years the Browns have been bad, their defense has been stellar. They've been hard-nosed. They're trained to fucking go. It's no joke. Like, that Steelers-Ravens rivalry is one of the biggest in all of NFL.
Absolutely.
So, like, what I'm saying right now is you build the offensive line, you build the defensive line, and then you build out from there. And you have T. Higgins, you have Boyd, you got Joe Mixon, who I love, by the way. Good fucking player. Joe Burrow. And I'm telling you right now, you get Burrow protection. He's playing without protection right now. I mean, look at that injury. He got fucking clobbered. He was getting clobbered all season.
All season.
You got to get him protection
But you
first,
got two things.
and then you build the defense.
Yeah, you got
That's
two
what you
things.
have to do.
You got two things with protecting him. You either got guys that he can get the ball out quick to, hence Pitts, right? Or you say, if we don't have that, we got to build inside to protect his ass, right? So I can go either way with Pitts and with either Elijah Vera Tucker or Sewell, right? Second round, they did a lot in free agency fixing that defensive line. They brought in Trey Hendrickson from New Orleans. They brought in Larry Ogunjobi from fucking Cleveland.
You're saying this year they did all this?
They just did. They just got Hendrickson. They just got Ogunjobi. They still got Sam Hubbard on the other line, the other side of the line.
I apologize. What's the guy's name? The fan of the week?
Ben.
I apologize, Ben. I don't know shit that the Bengals have done in the offseason.
So
I apologize.
Here's the thing. You got now Ryan Kerrigan coming in from Washington, who had a visit today. They might sign him if you bring him in. They got a solid. They just signed Chidobe Awuzie from Dallas. If you bring in the second round this linebacker out of Missouri, Nick Bolton, at your 38th pick, this kid is lightning. He's going to run all over the field. He tackles everything that moves. And he's actually got some instinct to where he'll pick balls off. He's a poor man's Devin White, this kid. And he'll light you up. Like, that's what I love.
That's a big compliment.
Love to see that. So if you watch some of this shit that Nick Bolton does, if you look at him from Missouri, to me, he flashes off the fucking video.
What if Cincy bails out of that pick and gets more picks and goes back a little bit? Maybe takes like a Mekhi Parsons or something.
Micah Parsons would be great. If they get Micah Parsons in the first round.
Micah Parsons. Sorry, I said that wrong.
They'll only get him in the first round. I mean, he won't be in there in the second round. But
no, I agree. That's what I'm saying, though. But, like, he's a guy that I could see not, like, slipping tremendously, but I could see him slipping to the team.
Sure. But if you can get a linebacker like Bolton and, in the second round and your fucking offensive lineman or your tight end in the first, then you're set. Bring in maybe a guy like Aldon Smith. Maybe have him rotate in, pass rusher, bring him in. And then you got to kind of shore up your return game. And then maybe a little bit of help on the offense with Cordero Patterson. If you bring him in, he'll automatically transform your return game. And he's a free agent. So, Bengals fans, Ben in particular, just give it some time. Give it some time. Let them build around Burrow. Let Pittsburgh get Ben retired. Let everybody figure out Lamar Jackson.
Look, we're not getting into this right now, but I am no fan of Lamar Jackson at all.
Okay. And there's reasons that or you shouldn't.
In fact, we're gonna have an episode where we talk about how fucking overrated this MVP for the NFL is because it's a fucking joke. Everyone who's won MVP, half the time doesn't fucking deserve it.
Soon we will get into the divisions. We will go division by division. We're going to let free agency go. We're going to let the draft go. And then once we get into the month of May and June and July, we're going to get into the divisions. We're going to get into what we think is coming up, and we're going to talk. That's coming. But, Ben, don't give up on these Bengals. They're not the Bungles anymore. You got Joe Burrow. You finally have a fucking franchise quarterback. You guys are going to be just fine. Just give it some time. I think we got to figure out so far. You said a little bit earlier you thought this free agency has been boring. I kind of fucking agree with you because we were really, really, really ready for these quarterbacks to start moving, and they haven't. And the trade talks have kind of simmered. We had this whole fucking shit with Deshaun Watson throwing a wrench and everything. So let's go right now. Let's pick one move good and one move bad of the best offseason moves so far that we've seen. I'll start off. I think the best thing I've seen this offseason is a group of moves by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to keep the band together. I love the fact that they are taking less money to stay together. I think that's what they got to do. Brady has always restructured his contract every year to make sure that players around him can come back, take him back to the fucking Super Bowl. He wants number 8, and I want to see him get number 8. Like, that's what's insane. Like, I'm rooting for Tom Brady and the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers just as much as I'm rooting for my Dallas Cowboys.
Let me say this real quick, and
fucked up.
people are going to fucking lose their shit when I say this. The people that know me. The last few years, I've actually been rooting for Tom Brady, and here's why. It's not because I like Tom Brady. I fucking hate the guy, honestly. I hate everything he fucking represents. He's a fucking piece of shit. People for years saying that our division has been terrible. Honestly, our division is usually the only division, like the teams in our division is the only teams that actually beat the Patriots. Like now you're starting to realize this guy fucking wins everywhere he goes. He's untouchable. But the reason why I've been rooting for Tom Brady is because it gets to a point. And I hope one day you feel this way about LeBron James. It gets to a point. You got to stop being a hater and just step back and want to be a witness to greatness. I'm never in my lifetime will I see someone win 8 fucking Super Bowls. The way the NFL's played out, unless it changes dramatically on how it's fucking organized and how everything's done, it'll never happen again. I'm telling you right now, it's so hard to do based on health, based on schedule, based on a million different things. So with that being said,
I can't believe you said the word witness. I just can't believe
I
you said
would
witness.
rather witness greatness. I literally I felt like that like two Super Bowls ago. Man, I want to see him get 7. I want to see him get, I think it was 5 because I said I want to see him get 6. I want to see him get 7 because I know I'll never see it again. It'll never happen. Never.
No, he's the GOAT, and I will never get
So
there with LeBron James. But yes, I mean, he's the GOAT.
You got to do it with LeBron. You got to step back and witness greatness.
So I want your best move. Go ahead.
My best move is not even really a free agency move. It's more of a trade. Me personally, I think the Los Angeles Rams making a move for Matthew Stafford. Now, I know part of the reason is because he wants to be with his fucking boy Kershaw in fucking L.A., but the truth of the matter is that's going to be huge for the Rams. The Rams have been like a team that probably should have done more than what they've actually have accomplished over the last couple of years. And I'm not a Goff hater. I'm not. I know a lot of people are, but I don't think Goff's as bad as people think.
Well, I was going to ask you, is this the addition by subtraction thing? Do you really love Stafford and it doesn't matter about Goff, or is this more about replacing Goff because Goff was the problem?
I don't think Goff's that bad. And maybe this is a Jet fan speaking because fucking if you were our quarterback right now, you'd probably be a top 5 quarterback for the Jets. I mean, it's embarrassing to say. We've never had a quarterback. So I'm like quarterback thirsty for anything. Anyone who's like a mediocre quarterback, I'm like, oh, this guy's fucking great. Because I don't know what a good quarterback looks like.
The fuck you saying I was mediocre?
But what I'm saying is Goff I don't think was that bad, but I think Stafford is a level up. I think Goff was more of a, I don't want to call him a journeyman, but he was more of an average, mediocre quarterback. I think Stafford is a guy who's like, he's not elite, but he's on that cusp. I think he's a little bit better than average, a little below elite. He's in that in-between stage where he's pretty good. With his knowledge, his ability, and his skill set, he can elevate this LA Rams team to another level. And he can get those deep balls. Because that's the other thing. I think Jared Goff's arm, he threw beautiful balls, but he wasn't really a downfield thrower. And now you got that downfield thrower. Stafford's got a fucking cannon.
Yeah, so you got
I think you don't know about him as much because he's been playing in Detroit. Nobody fucking gives a shit about Detroit.
You're saying that
no
Stafford.
offense.
You're saying that Stafford needed the change of scenery. I get that. I can see that. The Rams are a better team than Detroit, of course. But this also proves my point from earlier. Jared Goff was a number 1 overall selection, and the Rams are like, fuck you, we're trading you. Now, granted, it was for another number 1 selection in Matt Stafford, but at the same time, they moved off Goff. They said, yeah, even though we gave you all this money.
What's your point? You going back to Tua being a fucking Johnny Manziel?
Yes. I'm just saying.
Christ.
The fucking Rams saw it.
The second Tua starts snorting crack, we'll fucking compare Tua and fucking Johnny Manziel. Come on.
Forget about Johnny Manziel. Let's just say he's going to be another Jared Goff. The Rams saw it. And they said, you know what? I mean, Jared Goff, to his credit, bro, he won a fucking playoff game with a broken thumb on his throwing hand this year. He won a playoff game.
He made a Super Bowl, by the way.
I get it, but he shit his shorts when he was fucking in the Super Bowl.
Oh, he shit his shorts or he shoot his shorts?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't.
I don't
shoot.
know.
He didn't shoot.
Who
He shat.
knows anymore?
He actually shat. You know, it was a shart. I farted and a little shit came out. I think that, to me...
I like how you had to explain that so the listeners understood what a shart meant.
So, to me, this is the same thing. It's McVay and it's Les Snead, the fucking GM. They said, you know what? If we want to make it to the fucking promised land, Goff ain't the guy.
Rocco's a huge McVay fan. He would
God.
suck McVay off the first chance
to
he got.
me,
He
is one of the most overrated coaches of all time.
Rocco says McVay is the greatest coach of all time.
Holy shit. He's my Josh Allen. He's the Josh Allen for me in the NFL right now. Here's the thing. I like that move. I think you're right. I think the Rams are going to be better off with Stafford than they would be with Goff, but I just don't see Stafford being the promised land guy either, though. So,
look, I get you, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that people don't understand. And coming from a Jet fan who's literally never had – our best quarterback has been fucking Chad Pennington, pound for pound.
Sanchez.
Think about that for a minute. No, Chad Pennington, pound for pound, as far as stats and winning. Fitzpatrick has the touchdown record. That's embarrassing. Joe Namath, I'm not gonna talk shit on Joe Namath, but he led the league in interceptions twice. Kind of like jerk off. Yeah, I want to kiss you. Yeah, he played better drunk than he did sober. This fucking guy. Anyway, my point is, it gets to as a Jet fan, you gotta understand having a quarterback who's just top 15. Not the best quarterback, not top 5 quarterback, just top 15 is a fucking gift from God for your team.
Okay.
So to have a Stafford, who I think is a top 15 still, even though he's older, I think in this new situation, he's going to be rejuvenated. He's going to be ready to go. I think in Detroit, he didn't want to fucking get out of didn't want to wake up with the snow and all the bullshit and the shitty team and shitty organization. Why the fuck would you want to try it at all? I wouldn't. I think he's going to be rejuvenated in L.A. with his boy Kershaw, his homeboy. He's like, get ready to roll.
I was the number 1 pick, and oh my God, I don't want to go to practice today. Do you see that snow outside?
It's true. You got to fucking clean your car off 30 minutes before you get to practice. Are you kidding me? You're done. By then,
Stafford's Matt Stafford's car hasn't seen the outside, in fucking 10 years. The guy's probably got a bigger garage than my house, okay? Yeah, okay. So let's just get off of that. Let's get into the worst move of the offseason, in our opinion.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm going to have you start off on that one.
The worst move of this offseason so far is the Indianapolis Colts trading for the one and only Carson Wentz. Now, let me say this to start. I am a somewhat believer in Carson Wentz. I don't think he's done. I really don't. I think he needs a new situation.
He can't look much fucking worse, I'll tell you that.
I think he needs a new situation. I think he's like in a similar situation as Darnold. He needs a new team. He needs in a place where he's appreciated. Philadelphia, they didn't give a fuck about him. They wanted Nick Foles. Big Dick Nick.
They should have.
Who they wanted.
They should have fucking done that.
I'm telling you, they should have got him. It didn't work out. They had shrines for fucking Nick Foles. They said fucking Wentzylvania
and fucking all this bullshit.
No. The media said that. The team did not, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying Philly wanted this fucking guy to succeed.
You had Kelsey, you had Ertz, and that was about it. That really loved Wentz. That was about it. What I'm saying is, I know he's going back to his old.
So he's got Frank Reich, who was the offensive coordinator, back with the Eagles. Now he's with the Colts. So he's got that.
Yeah, he's also got Press Taylor, who was the offense quality control guy in Philly. He's like best friends with Carson Wentz.
Gotcha.
Like, it was a joke. So it's bad because, like, this is a team that, yeah, they made the move. They got Xavier Rhodes, but for the most part, they haven't done really anything else. The biggest move they've done is Carson Wentz. But they have a team that has a great offensive line. They got a good defense. They got phenomenal, underrated wide receivers, and they're ready to win right now.
And running backs. running backs too. Yeah.
Marlon Mack just got re-signed.
Re-signed. Jonathan Taylor's a fucking beast.
Like they have a stud team, and that division is very winnable. Houston's a fucking joke. Jacksonville, who fucking knows?
Yep. And Tennessee got worse.
Tennessee got worse,
Yeah.
And who knows what Tennessee's going to do? Like, are you really trusting in Ryan Tannehill to be the guy going forward? I don't know if I am. Who knows? But with that being said, it's a very winnable division, and you put all your eggs in the Carson Wentz basket? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's insane to me. Like, I'm not saying Carson Wentz didn't deserve a new scenery, a new place, because I think he did, and I think that will be great for him. I'm just not sure if I'm the Colts. I'm taking that gamble with him. I get it, you got Press Taylor. I get it, you got Frank Wright. And I get it, you know him, and you think you can get what you want. But I just think that's way too much of a gamble, considering you have the pieces to be a straight fucking contender.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I can see your point. I mean, you know me, I don't like Wentz, but at the same time, if he's going to thrive anywhere, this is the place. So
you think that's the place?
I think that's the place. So I think that's what, as a Carson Wentz non-believer, I think that he might potentially make me into a believer. I get where you're coming from.
Real quick, if he doesn't, do you think his career's over?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's a huge
Mark Sanchez,
huge fall from grace if he ends up tanking with the Colts, where he's got everything going for him. You know, T.Y. Hilton re-signed. You got Marlon Mack re-signs. They already have a nasty team all over the place. Drafts coming up. So, you know.
Pittman's great.
Yeah, if he doesn't,
a lot of the rookies were fucking good.
And they'll get Paris Campbell back. He's a speedster at receiver, too. So
God, I love Paris Campbell. You didn't get to see him last year.
No. So, I mean, if he can't thrive in this system, then he's fucked. I have another one. I just think this Kenny Golladay fucking deal is insane. I think Gettleman, again, is just, it's got to be the end of the rope for this guy. Andrew Thomas, draft pick, number 4 offensive tackle out of Georgia last year, who got his ass kicked all year on the line this year, was an overdraft, was a reach, was a stretch for them to pick him at 4.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Side note: me and you both thought the Mekhi Becton pick was a fucking disaster, and fucking Becton
he's a steal.
Stud.
Yep, he's a stud
compared to fucking this guy.
And guess what? And he passed up on him. So Gettleman, to me, is one of these GMs that it's blasphemy to me that how he has his fucking job still. This guy got paid $18 million a year to be a guy on the outside that does basically one thing, and when he does that one thing, if he's on the field to do that one thing, it's worked for the Detroit Lions with Matt Stafford, who threw him the ball, just threw it up to him when they were down by 3 touchdowns, usually all the time. They brought in a guy like that and paid him $18 million. I get why you didn't want to pay Odell Beckham Jr. that kind of money, because he is a little bit of a headache. This guy's nowhere near the talent of Odell Beckham Jr., and Gettleman gives him $18 million a year. Kenny Golladay. Fucking crazy.
I disagree with you.
Crazy. Out of your tits.
I disagree with you, because I think they needed to do something. I think they needed to get somebody in there, and I think he's going to help compared to what they had. You had to do something.
To me, I don't see him being better than any of the top 3 receivers in the draft. I just don't. I don't. And you get them cheaper. Gettleman's
but
a
now
fucking
you can get
moron.
Something else.
What's he going to get? Gettleman a what? Draft
what pick they got?
Offensive lineman? Gettleman will draft an offensive lineman that nobody's ever heard of, overdraft him. You know, the Giants draft 11th, all right? So they draft a pick after Dallas. So
what if they get your boy Micah Parsons, Micah Parsons, whatever the fuck his name is?
Micah Parsons, fine.
He's a fucking Penn State linebacker.
He's a Penn State linebacker who sat out the season. I don't want anybody, even though Jamar Chase is nasty, I'm sorry. I don't want anybody who sat the season out. That's my stance. I could fucking go off on that for 10 minutes if you want.
You don't want you wouldn't take Jamar Chase?
No. As a GM, to me, I think you got a little bit of pussy in you if you take the season off.
Oh my!
That's just my opinion. So
this is a whole different topic.
A whole different topic. I understand. There's maybe extenuating circumstances out there where he had a family member that was maybe close to him.
Yeah,
and you want to get sick.
It's just not.
Let's just not get into that, okay? But I'm just saying, in a fucking bubble, I don't want someone who took the fucking season off. Okay, so that's just me. And I think the Giants could have gotten a better receiver in the draft for a lot cheaper than bringing this fucking guy in, overpaying him, and he's going to be another guy who's going to wreck their salary cap, and I fucking love it.
The Dallas Cowboys trade into the first round and select Trey Lance.
After taking Jamar Chase with their first pick. So I don't I don't want a guy who took the season off. I'm sorry. That's just me. But honestly, man, episode 3 in the books. I liked how it went. I hope we fucking keep rolling. We're getting social media traction, coming up with some new fucking ideas. We're coming at you very, very, very rapidly in this free agency and draft period. And then we're going to make it fun for you guys when it becomes May until training camp. So, and then once the season starts, we're going to be fucking off and rolling. So, for Rocco B, Scotty G, we say see you later. We say sayonara. And until next time, highly explicit, we're out.
Adios.